Hi everyone, it's Danielle Adams here again with the Strive Youth Conference for part 4, the final part of Be the First, the presentation. If you stayed with me for the last 3 videos, you know that we've talked about a lot of different things. In our last presentation, we talked a lot about the history of the tobacco industry targeting young people to use their products. How the industry, the tobacco and vaping industries, use flavors, they use marketing to hook a new generation of users on nicotine. And we talked about how if you do make this decision for yourself, if you let the tobacco and vaping industries trick you into a lifetime of nicotine addiction, if you let them win, what that could actually do for your future and what it could mean for you to become addicted. But what I'm here today in our last and final presentation is to tell you that you have an opportunity to be bigger and better than a lifetime of nicotine addiction, and to be bigger and better than the tobacco industry, and bigger and better than the generations before you who were tricked by them. You have an opportunity here that no one else has. I want to tell you a story about something that young people in our own state of Massachusetts have done. Here's a picture of our state house in Boston, where I'm presenting to you from today. And in Boston, a couple of months ago, a really huge thing happened. We made history. In Massachusetts, we became the first state in the nation to ban the sale of all flavored tobacco products, including menthol products, which have been historically targeted to people of color. I want to tell you that one more time so you understand. In Massachusetts, we became the first and only state in the country to ban all flavored tobacco products, which we know have been targeted to kids, including menthol products, which have historically been targeted to people of color, in particular the Black community. And this is all thanks to the work of young people in our state. So celebrate with me at home, because that's an incredible thing that we did. We made history, and people all over the country, states, are really looking to Massachusetts as a leader in protecting the health and the futures of our youth. The way that we did this is by getting youth together who realized that the tobacco industry was targeting youth and targeting people of color. And they thought that that was not okay with them. They decided that they were going to do something about it. So they wrote testimony, they showed up to the State House, they protested, they held signs, they wrote letters, and they said really powerful things about the tobacco industry targeting them. And they asked our legislators and our policymakers to do something about it. They asked them to protect youth and to end the targeting of youth and people of color for good. And they won. They did this monumental thing by passing this bill. And the reason I'm telling you this is because I want you to know that you have the power to make change. Maybe it's not tobacco that you care about. Maybe it's something else like climate change or gender equality, LGBTQ rights, anything in life that you care about, you have the opportunity to make a change. Even if it's just now during these really challenging times, while we're all affected by this global pandemic, maybe there's something that you want to do to make a change in your community, in your state, in the country, in the world. You have the power to do that because your voice matters. When young people show up, when they tell their stories, when they voice what's important to them, that's when change happens, and that's when history is made. And I know this because I watched it happen here in our own state. So before I end, I do want to acknowledge that this is a presentation about vaping, and there's a lot of people at home who may be struggling with an addiction. And if that's you, or if that's a friend of yours, I want to take a moment to talk about quitting and what you could do to support yourself or somebody else who may be looking to quit. Now, if somebody is coming to you looking to quit, there's a few things that aren't very helpful to do. The first is to judge them and to say that it's stupid that they vape, to tell them something about how bad it is for them, because chances are they already know that and they're looking to stop. You shouldn't tell somebody why they should quit. They should always have their own reason for wanting to quit. Maybe it's for their health, for their future, for their family, but they should come up with that on their own. You shouldn't tell them to make better choices or that they'll get in trouble or make them feel like it's going to be too hard because they're already addicted. Some things that are helpful today to say to someone who wants to quit is to tell them what I told you, that the tobacco industry has targeted them to use their products and it's not their fault. And if it's you who's looking to quit, remember that it's not your fault. Ask them why they might want to quit, what their reasons are, and get them to explain what it is that they're doing this for. You should tell them that this is an addiction and that it is going to be hard, but there are people here to support you and want you to be healthy. And ask them if there's things that you can do to support them. It is going to be hard, but there are resources to make it easier. And some of those resources I'll show you now. There are specific hotlines that are developed for youth where you can text a number on the screen or call them, and you'll actually be paired with another young person, a youth coach who will talk to you about the quitting process and support you along the way. Another one is here. You could text the number on the screen, Ditch Jewel, and you'll be paired with another person to help you through the quitting process. And this means that you're not alone in this. There's a lot of young people right now who are looking to quit, looking to stop using these products, especially now that we're all home and we're looking out for our health. I want to end with a quote because I was told every good talk ends with a quote. So I'll use this one. Never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed people can change the world. Indeed, it is the only thing that ever has. And I say this because I want to bring us back to part one of this presentation where we talked about these words that people think about young people: lazy, ignorant, careless, self-absorbed, too young to make a difference. And these things are not true. They don't define who you are. These are the things that make up who you are. You are strong and smart and powerful and important, and you are the future. Be the First is the title of this presentation, and that's because you are the only generation that can be the first to end tobacco and vaping altogether. You can be the first to put the tobacco industry out of business, to end nicotine addiction in our country and in the world. This vaping epidemic can't be stopped by adults, can't be stopped by doctors or your parents or your teachers or myself. It can only be stopped from you all. You can be the first and only generation to end nicotine use altogether, and I hope that you do. So thank you all so much for sticking with me, for listening to these 4 presentations. I hope that you've learned something. I hope that I've inspired you in some way, that your voice matters and that you can make a difference. And if I've done that, I've done my job. So thank you again for tuning in. I hope you enjoy the rest of the Strive Youth Conference. Stay safe and healthy.